India is a rising global power with a strong economy, a massive population, and a growing influence in international affairs. However, despite its progress, it is not yet among the top 10 most powerful countries in 2025. Factors such as economic challenges, military limitations, diplomatic constraints, and infrastructure gaps hinder its global dominance. Additionally, political instability, social issues, and dependence on imports slow its growth. While India excels in technology, space exploration, and cultural influence, it still faces competition from established global powers like the US, China, and Germany. Addressing these challenges is crucial for India's future global standing. 1. Economic constraints. India's economy is the fifth largest in the world, but its per capita income remains low due to significant income inequality, unemployment, and inflation. While its GDP growth is strong, India still lags behind global leaders like the US, China, and Japan in industrial output, infrastructure development, and global trade influence. The economy remains largely dependent on the informal sector, which limits tax revenue collection and slows long-term development. Additionally, bureaucratic inefficiencies and regulatory challenges create hurdles for businesses and foreign investment. Although India is making progress in manufacturing through initiatives like Make in India, it still struggles to compete with China's supply chain dominance. The agricultural sector, which employs a large portion of the population, remains inefficient and vulnerable to climate change. Without major economic reforms, better income distribution, and stronger industrial output, India will continue to trail behind the world's most powerful economies in terms of overall influence and global reach. 2. Military power limitations. India has one of the world's largest standing armies and is a recognized nuclear power, but it lacks the global military reach of the US, China, or Russia. Unlike these countries, India has a limited number of overseas military bases, fewer aircraft carriers, and a relatively small blue water navy capable of projecting power far from its shores. While India has made significant advancements in missile technology and indigenous defense production, it still relies heavily on imports for advanced fighter jets, submarines, and defense equipment. The development of stealth technology, cyber warfare capabilities, and space-based defense systems is still in its early stages compared to major world powers. Additionally, India faces security threats from its borders with China and Pakistan, which consume significant military resources and prevent a greater focus on global defense expansion. Without rapid modernization and strategic partnerships, India's military influence will remain regionally dominant but globally limited. 3. Diplomatic influence. India is an active player in global diplomacy, participating in organizations like the G20, BRICS, and Quad, yet it still lacks a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council, UNSC, which restricts its influence in international decision-making. While it has strengthened relations with major powers like the US, Japan, and the European Union, it still faces diplomatic challenges, especially in dealing with neighboring countries like China and Pakistan. Border tensions and historical conflicts limit India's ability to build strong regional alliances similar to the European Union or NATO. Additionally, India's non-aligned foreign policy approach sometimes prevents it from taking bold stances on global issues, reducing its impact on global governance. While India is growing as a global leader in trade, technology, and security collaborations, its lack of dominance in shaping international policies and resolving global conflicts keeps it from being among the top 10 most powerful nations. 4. Infrastructure and development gaps. Despite rapid urbanization and government initiatives, India still struggles with inadequate infrastructure, which slows down economic growth and industrial expansion. The country's road networks, public transport systems, and energy supply remain inconsistent, especially in rural areas. Traffic congestion in major cities, unreliable power grids, and slow progress in high-speed rail development put India behind nations like China, Japan, and Germany, which have world-class infrastructure. While projects like the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor and Smart Cities mission aim to modernize urban centers, execution delays and bureaucratic inefficiencies hinder progress. Poor urban planning also leads to overcrowding, pollution, and housing shortages in metropolitan areas. Additionally, India's port and logistics sector is less efficient than global leaders, affecting trade competitiveness. Without major infrastructure reforms and faster project implementation, India will continue to face obstacles in achieving the level of industrial and economic efficiency seen in the world's most powerful nations. 5. Technological and innovation lag. India is a global leader in IT services, space exploration, and pharmaceuticals, but it still lags in advanced technological innovation compared to the US, China, and Germany. While Indian institutions like ISRO have achieved impressive milestones, the country still depends on foreign technology for artificial intelligence, robotics, semiconductor manufacturing, and cybersecurity. The lack of significant R&D investment and weak industry-academia collaboration slow down technological advancements. Countries like the US dominate innovation through Silicon Valley, while China invests heavily in AI, 5G, and quantum computing. India's semiconductor industry is underdeveloped, making it reliant on imports for key electronic components. Although the government has launched initiatives like Digital India and Atmanirbhar Bharat to promote self-reliance, the country still struggles to match the scale and speed of technological breakthroughs seen in top global powers. Without a stronger innovation ecosystem, India's ability to compete in high-tech industries remains limited. 6. Internal political and social issues. India is the world's largest democracy, but political instability, corruption, and bureaucratic inefficiencies continue to hinder its progress. Frequent policy changes, coalition politics, and lengthy bureaucratic procedures create an uncertain business and investment climate. Corruption remains a major issue, affecting everything from infrastructure projects to law enforcement. Social challenges like religious tensions, caste-based discrimination, and gender inequality also impact national unity and economic development. While India is a diverse and vibrant democracy, regional disparities between wealthy states like Maharashtra and poorer ones like Bihar highlight governance challenges. Political polarization and protests over economic policies, agricultural reforms, and social justice issues often disrupt stability. These internal conflicts divert government focus away from long-term development goals. Compared to more politically stable global powers like Germany or Japan, India faces more governance challenges that slow its rise to becoming a top-tier global powerhouse. 7. Education and human development challenges. India has the world's largest youth population, providing a massive workforce advantage, yet it faces significant challenges in education and human development. While institutions like IITs and IIMs produce world-class talent, the overall education system struggles with outdated curricula, inadequate funding, and teacher shortages. Many schools in rural areas lack basic infrastructure, affecting learning outcomes. Although India has made progress in higher education, skill development programs do not meet industry demands, leading to unemployment and underemployment. Brain drain is another issue, as top graduates often migrate to the US or Europe for better opportunities. Human development indicators such as literacy rates, healthcare access, and life expectancy also lag behind developed nations. Without major reforms in education and social welfare, India's vast human capital potential remains underutilized, preventing it from competing with nations that have highly skilled and innovative workforces. 8. Dependence on imports. India has made strides in industrialization, but it remains heavily dependent on imports for key sectors such as defense, electronics, and energy. Unlike China, which dominates global supply chains, India still imports most of its semiconductor chips, advanced military equipment, and high-end technology. While the Make in India initiative aims to reduce dependency on foreign products, progress has been slow. The lack of a strong domestic manufacturing ecosystem means that India must rely on countries like Russia for defense supplies and China for electronic components. This dependency not only affects India's trade balance but also limits its strategic autonomy. A country that wants to be a global power must have self-sufficiency in critical industries, but India's reliance on imports keeps it from competing at the same level as the US, China, or Germany. 9. Limited soft power reach. India has strong cultural influence through Bollywood, yoga, and cuisine, but its soft power does not match that of Western nations like the US and the UK. Hollywood dominates global media, while American tech companies, universities, and financial institutions shape global narratives. China has expanded its influence through investments and infrastructure projects via the Belt and Road Initiative, while India's global cultural and financial presence remains comparatively limited. Though India has made strides in diplomacy and global branding, its influence in international media, education, and business remains lower than that of Western powers. Additionally, language barriers and regional diversity make it harder for India to export a unified cultural identity at a global scale. Expanding international universities, global corporate investments, and digital platforms could enhance India's soft power in the future. 10. Competition from other rising powers. India competes with nations like China, Germany, and Japan, which have already secured dominant positions in global politics, economics, and technology. China leads in trade and military expansion, Germany dominates manufacturing and exports, and Japan excels in technology and industrial efficiency. While India is growing rapidly, these countries have decades of strategic investments, advanced infrastructure, and global influence. Breaking into the top 10 most powerful nations requires surpassing these well-established powers, which is a significant challenge given India's existing limitations in economy, military, and innovation.